Well, good evening, good afternoon, folks. Good to be here with you today for another SFOI 1000 update. We're going to review some things that happened last weekend as far as football outreaches go, and then we will be looking at future events and what's going to happen this weekend as well. I ask that you just continue to pray for these men as they go out and preach the gospel. We're about over halfway through football season right now, so it's going quick, but we need to finish strong. So I'll be praying for these men to get out there and preach the gospel. So let's go over some stuff that happened last weekend. Let me see if I can get this pulled up. Bear with me. Here we go. Sorry about that. A little technical difficulties there. Having me minimize myself a little bit here. There we go. All right, in the college world this weekend, we're going to do this a little backwards. We're going to go review this weekend and look at last week. Actually, look at this week. So David Day at Auburn, Saturday the 2nd. Kick off there at 11:45 Central Time. Joe Toy, North Carolina State on Saturday the 2nd as well. So kickoffs around noon Eastern. Shiloh Gavin and Richard Walker, University of Oklahoma, 1:30 p.m. Central Time kickoff. Joshua Tubbs, University of Alabama, Birmingham, UAB, 1:30 p.m. Central. Jacob Nelson, I'm not sure Jacob's going to be at the Illinois State game, so just be praying for him. He may not be there, but 2 p.m. Central Time for him. And Brother John Crowley down in Florida, University of Central Florida, 3:30 p.m. Eastern kickoff. Sam Wilking, University of Nevada out west. He will be University of Nevada. Kickoff there is 5 p.m. Pacific time. Brother Jerry Collins out in California, Bakersfield. Kickoff 6 p.m. Pacific time. And then Brother Bill will be at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, 7:45 p.m. So let's go back up and look at some NFL games for Sunday. Don't have a lot of games for Saturday for the college teams that we preach at, so pray for more laborers for the field. Certainly that's a good reminder. Usually there's 2 pages of these. There's just one this week. So NFL, there was a Monday night game for Matthew Cochran, Pittsburgh Steelers. That was at 8:15 p.m. Some of you may have seen that game. Then this Sunday, John Coble, Tennessee Titans, 12 p.m. Central. Brother Mike Andrews, Carolina Panthers, 1 p.m. Central. David Dorman, 1 p.m. Central, Cincinnati Bengals. And we have Sterling on here for the Falcons game Sunday, but it's actually going to be Doug Renz and myself as Sterling is out of town. So we'll be covering that game for him. Then Matt DeJesus, Arizona Cardinals, 2:05 p.m. Mountain Time. Then Sunday, Brother Heath and Dan will be at Green Bay, 3:25 p.m. Central Time. And Brother Bill, Doc Shank, Minnesota Vikings, he'll be preaching there, 7:20 p.m. Central, so we'll be praying for him as well. So that's the outlook for this coming weekend for football as it goes. So we appreciate your prayers, and certainly if you can get out and help us pass out tracts or whatever you can do to get the gospel to these folks, we would greatly appreciate it. So if you have a desire to do so, you can contact me at 480-298-8402, and I'll be glad to get you connected with someone. So please do that. All right, let's look at some activities from last week. Brother Michael Coughlin preaches at the Ohio State games back on the 26th. He had a team, Jeremy Bowman, Ryan Pasma, I guess you say that, Matthew Smith, Daniel Pardner, Elijah Thompson, Michael Robert Coughlin, Wesley Coughlin, and Michael Coughlin. Had a good team of folks out there. Here's some pictures we can look at preaching there at the game. And this at the bottom here must be the after evangelism meal. As you can see his picture there, but that's what was happening in Ohio last week. And let's move on out to Memphis, or down to Memphis, Tennessee. Brother John Dawson. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and play this video. He left a video update while he was out there, so let's just listen in. It's about 1 minute and 40 seconds long, so here we go. All right, let's put John preaching out there. Pray for him. I think he's out there by himself at the Memphis game. So pray for the Lord to bring more laborers to the field with him. Good brother. I was out at the something with him out in LA. I think it was a few years ago. We had a good time preaching together. He's a nice brother. Good. He's fun to be around. Very kind brother. So if you get a chance to hang out with John, do so. All right. Here's Brother Pat Haggerty out in Colorado. And looks like he had one other person with him. So there's two guys out there with it. He said it was another beautiful day in Colorado for the 100th homecoming game for the Colorado State Rams. The crowd was at capacity and opportunities were abundant to not only hand out gospel literature, but to preach the gospel of Christ as well. Check out our YouTube channel for the videos. You see there, he's got a YouTube channel. I'll highlight it right there. Go check him out. He's got some more videos from his other laborers out there in the field. I see some of those and get to watch some of those sometimes during the day. But pray for Brother Pat, another great brother, very faithful. Appreciate him very much. Then let's talk about some a little bit farther in the future events that are coming up, but they'll be here before you know it. The first thing I want to talk to you about is the College Football Championship this year. It is in Atlanta, here in my neck of the woods, about an hour from where I live. So we plan on being down there. We have 3 other brothers besides myself signed up already for this, and we want to have at least 10 guys out there. That's a good number for this event. It's January 17th through the 20th. That Friday will be kind of check-in day. We may do some ministry that evening, afternoon, but definitely we'll be doing it the other 3 days. Of course, the game for the College Football Championship is on a Monday, so be prepared for that. If you have any questions, certainly get with me, or you can go to SFOI.org. Go to the, if you look right here, the drop-down menu, it says events January through June, and you can just go down to these events. You can go to the College Football Championship there, or the Super Bowl Outreach there, which we'll talk about in a moment. But I'd love to have you. If you got questions, give me a call. Get with me. We'll have a good time. We preach a lot down there at Mercedes-Benz, and it's a good place to preach. So come on out and join us. You'll have a good time. The weather sometimes is a little chilly. Sometimes it's not. You never know here in Georgia what it's going to be like, even in January. So I look forward to seeing you there. And the next big event coming up after that will be the Super Bowl Outreach in New Orleans. This is I guess you'd say, the premier or the largest SFOI event of the year. Typically, it's between 80 to 100 folks out preaching the gospel. And we see the team leaders, these brothers here, and great men, all of them. I've served with many of them before. You'll love being on their team. They'll take good care of you. They'll help you and encourage you. And Super Bowl Outreach, if you don't know how the format, it's kind of laid out like Thursday. You get there and you'll check in. You'll have a meal. You have some teaching. The team leaders will do teaching. It's always good teaching. And then on Friday morning we'll get up and we'll have prayer for about an hour as a group, and then we'll do breakfast, then more teaching, and then around 11 or noon head out typically to our ministry locations. 6 teams will break up and go to different areas. There'll be 10, 12, 15 guys per team. And sometimes we break those up into smaller teams as well. So you'll have plenty of time to preach and hand out tracts. It's a good time. And that routine will repeat on Saturday and Sunday. It's similar, but usually the time backs up a little bit just because the kickoff time is early in the afternoon, usually for the Super Bowl there. So it's a great event. It's you'll learn a lot. I highly recommend it. If you're just getting started, new guy, I really recommend this event to you, because you not only get to come out and experience preaching and giving out tracts and talking to people, you also get to hear these men preach and learn from them, and also get to hang out with them and have them encourage you and help you along the way. So it's a great event. There's so many great aspects to it. The fellowship's one of the great things about it. I see men there every year that I only see there, and so it's a great event. So I would encourage you to come out there and be a part of that. I'm going to hide that, hopefully, right quick, and just talk to you for a minute. We appreciate your prayers. Like I say, this is we're deep into the football season now. It goes quick once you get started. And I know there's challenges out there. There's life events happen and different things. But let's get focused on and make it a priority to get out and preach the gospel. And we always, I guess, preach, for lack of a better word, no pun intended, consistency. We want consistency. And so I know that things happen. You can't always be at your games, and that's fine. I know the brothers from the camp, they typically let us know. I appreciate you doing that. So we do know. But we try to be as consistent as we can, because that does many things for you. First and foremost, it lets the fans know that you're serious about what you do. You don't just fly into town, preach at them, and then take off. That you're there consistently, game after game, even year after year, as you do this for many years. And you get to know people. I know ticket scalpers I see at every game, and we're friends, and security and all kinds of stuff. They just constantly see you there. And the fans, there's many fans that are season ticket holders. They'll come to every ball game, and they consistently see you there. And I even hear people walk by us at UGA often, and if they got a visitor in town they're bringing to the game, they'll say, those guys are here every game. And I'm like, yes, I'm glad you noticed that, because we want you to hear the gospel. So get out there and do this. Or every venue is going to be different. You have to go out, and of course I'll help you, and Brother Bill will, any way we can, and these other guys as well. But every venue is going to be different. UGA venue, we have a great spot the Lord has provided for us to preach and get the gospel to many people through his gospel tracts, preaching, however it is, conversations. And the other guys, like you saw Brother John, his video, he's out where people tailgate preaching his game. There's a lot of foot traffic there. So you just have to go, and if you're just getting started and somebody's not already doing that, go out and experiment, for lack of a better word, and kind of do some recon and go out and figure out where the best place to preach is. And you might run into, some issues with law enforcement or the authorities at the stadium. You have to work through that as well. And we're blessed. We haven't really had any problems like that at UGA. That's not to say we won't. So that's one thing to constantly pray about too. Before you go out, pray that you'll have favor with the authorities and that they will encourage you to be there. We actually have encouragement from law enforcement sometimes, believe it or not. And some other guys last weekend or 2 weeks ago in my report were talking about how one officer even came up and asked them to turn their volume up. So it's just a lot of effort to get out there and trial and error to figure out what works best at your stadium. We suggest getting out 3 hours early before kickoff. That's what we do. We get out there. If kickoff says at 1, we'll be out there at 10. There's some foot traffic out there. It's not real thick at that time, but we start at 10 and preach right up to kickoff time, and then we kind of exit as the fans are filtering into the stadium and thinning out there where we're by the gates. But it may be different for you. You may want to come 2 hours before and stay an hour after kickoff. You may want to stay after the game and preach. It's just whatever works for you. It's just what seems to work best is about 2 or 3 hours before kickoff. So I would suggest trying that. But anyway, I want you to know I'm praying for you. I appreciate all of you that's out there preaching. Pray for us as we go out tonight down to Athens and preach. And then Sunday, as Doug and I will be at the Falcons Stadium, Lord willing, preaching there to those Atlanta Falcons fans. So pray about these events. Pray about the college football championship. Pray about the Super Bowl outreach. There's also, of course, conference championships in the college world. There's conference SEC championship games in Atlanta. I think that's going to be on December 7th, if I remember correctly. Then there's also one of the playoff games, I believe, is in Atlanta before the championship. So just check the schedule. You can go online and check, or get with me, and I can help you out with the schedules, finding out what's going on. So I appreciate you. Pray for us. Let's get out there and let's preach the gospel until all here. God bless.